Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Deltran, and you're watching Zen and the Art of Hero Making, a series that I'm doing here where we go out and turn our favorite Fire Emblem heroes, chibi little guys, into little murder machines. That's a little creepy. Alright, so once again, thank you for joining me here. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at Alfonse, everyone's favorite Asker Prince. I'm assuming so because he's the only one. He's a hero that everybody has. He's the first sword lord everyone comes in contact with, and everybody just seems to bench him all the time. So let's go ahead and take a look at him and see why that is, and if we can't do something to improve him, because I just want him to be good. So let's go ahead and get right into it. If you don't know what this is the Mass Duel Simulator. I've already done an episode on how to use the Mass Duel Simulator, so if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and click there to go ahead and get that. Link will also be in the doobly-doo for that episode, plus the Mass Duel Simulator, and the other website, the feheroes.wiki website that I use. So check that out. Anyway, if we take a look here, Alfonse has 41, 46, and 30 for his Mass Duel Simulator stats. And if you recall to the first episode, that's worse than Sharina's vanilla kit. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to prove it to you. You can prove it to yourself. If you pick many popular sword lords that are out there right now, sword lord being the generic term for a lord that uses a sword. Sorry to treat you like you're an idiot. Their win loss inclusive inclusive ratio is much better than Alfonse's. So let's go ahead and see what we could do here to help him out. So last time we go ahead and we were just hitting around at different things. We're going to be a lot more direct with this one. Let's first of all check out Alfonse's Fire Emblem Heroes wiki page here. I just went to feheroes.wiki/Alfonse. It brings you directly to the Gamepedia site where you could take a look at all of his things, and we're going to take a look at his sword, Folkvanger, maybe. The effect there is it grants +5 attack whenever he's lower than 50% hit points. That is basically Defiant Attack 2. Which is a skill that anybody can learn through skill inheritance, but he has it natively on his sword. Whenever you see a sword that has a unique name on it, this weapon can't be given to anyone else, so you might as well try to make it work on this hero. At least that's my take on it. You could definitely deviate from this. I'm not telling you how to play a game. I'm not your dad. But you could also notice that the might on this weapon is 16, so that's another reason to keep it. 16 is the highest that any weapon in the game currently has. We're going to go back to the Mass Duel Simulator then and take a look at his default kit. He comes with Soul, which is arguably a terrible thing. However, he has that bonus whenever he's low on hit points. You would think maybe that'll help him out, and I'll show you how to try to suss that out. Death Blow 3. That's something that whenever he initiates the attack, he gets a bonus on the damage. So he has a bonus whenever he's low on hit points. He has a bonus just for attacking. And he has a 51 right out the gate. You'd think that this guy's just like a little nuke walking around. Why does he have a 41 and then a 46 for losses? You'll find out here in just a moment. He doesn't have a B slot, so this is obvious, like the first step candidate to try to beef him up. And then he has Spur Attack, which is his default to be able to help people. Let's get into it. Let's take a look here at his A skill once again. Death Blow 3 is a common skill used to try to buff up the attack of a hero. The other couple popular ones being Fury, Life and Death. Those are really the big players if you want to just add raw damage to someone. And so he has Death Blow 3. We're going to keep that for right now. So let's go ahead and take... And we know that the C slot is a little finicky. We'll get to you later. Let's go ahead and just take a look at a couple of things here. I'm going to go ahead and give him Mubo, and I'm going to give him... Whenever he takes it, I'm going to give him Vantage 3. We're going to go and take a look at him. Basically, this is one of the standard packages that you give to someone if you just want them to do raw damage and you don't want to think about it. Anytime you have a hero and you're like, oh, I need this hero to just bam! Where bam means kill lots of things. This is what you probably want to give them. Vantage 3 is at least okay on every hero. There's a few that it's fantastic, and there's a couple of exceptions where it's really not okay. But for the most part, if you don't want to think about it, give them Vantage 3. And Moonbow is also a great one where you're going to get a decent return if you put it on them. Let's take a look. 63, 27, 27. Well, that's not bad. But let me tell you something. It's not great. You're going to find a lot more Sword Lords out there that have a lot bigger bang for the buck. Let's go ahead and just start to, before we start modifying this at all, let's get into where he's at. So we're going to get rid of the blue, because we obviously don't care about him defeating blue for the most part. So let's come on down here and take a look at what he has. So it drops his wins down to 58, meaning he was killing some of them. But now his losses are 6. Hey, it shows we're getting somewhere. Inconclusive is 21. Ugh, let's see where he's going wrong. Let's go ahead and get rid of... let's just look at the green. Look at the weapon triangle. See if he could at least kill all of these guys. No, he has 5 inconclusives. So we're going to go ahead and sort this by worst to see who we're not... actually, here, we're going to go ahead and just filter it by losses. Are you doing it? This is how we do it. Oh, what a shame. Alright, let me try this one more time. We're going to go ahead and just refresh the page. Once again, if this thing ever gets a little wonky on you, just refresh it. It will fix up whatever you're doing. We're getting rid of red. We're getting rid of blue. We're getting rid of gray. Let's just do this filter first. Yay, he's not losing to anybody right now on green. Hey, that's good. What did I do wrong? What's happening? It's going to do Vantage 3. Do okay, yeah, so there's no one he's losing to. Let's take a look at his inclusives that he's got here. He's only got 5. These are the people he's not killing within 2 rounds of combat. Player phase, enemy phase, they're still standing. To a degree, let me move me out of the way. To a degree, some of these people were not that surprised to see. Merrick is basically a blue Robin. He's going to stand there. He's going to take some hits. Our buddy Alfonse is on the up and up on this one, but it's still not winning. The other one that he doesn't kill is Hector. Really close, but not quite there. And so that's actually one of the disappointing things, is that you expect your red unit to be able to handle Hector. Sometimes he's not going to come out looking too pretty on the other end, but you really hope that you can handle the big threats, and Hector is a really big threat. You're going to find him in PvP Arena a lot. You're going to find a lot of armor in normal PvE content that mirrors Hector, even without distant counter. So you need to have an answer for him, and honestly, it's not a... It's not a no-go if your red Sword Lord can't do it, but it is definitely a flag against them. So let's go ahead and just try to take a look around here at a few things. So this is the first build that a lot of people will walk right into. It's very easy to do. It's 2 different heroes. Both of them red are the most common ones that you're going to get this from. As you can see here, you're not dealing with all of the green threats. You're not dealing with... Here. Sorry, I don't mean to jump the gun on you here. Let's go into gray. Take a look at these guys. Inconsistent. 4 wins, 1 loss, and we're going to the battle is 11 inconsistents. So as you see here, we're taking care of Kajero. Sorry. G is the J, not G. Setsuna, which is great. A Klein is an inconsistent... Oh, no, sorry. Setsuna was inconsistent, Klein is inconsistent, and Takumi kills us. So now we have 1 high-tier threat that we can't kill, that we almost kill, another high tier threat that kills us. This is starting to not look like a good PvP build. It is easy. It'll handle a lot of other content. If you were to build your Alfonse this way, if you have a couple other units to handle some of the slack where he's not picking up, you're going to be able to handle the rotations very well whenever he comes around. But we don't want to be able to handle things very well. We want to handle things wonderfully. So let's take a look at another build for Alfonse here. And I want to look at... Well, here, I'm sorry. Jumping the gun on you again. The weakest stat that Alfonse has is resistance. Everyone's weakest stat is resistance. Everybody's going to get pounded by mages. The converse to that is that mages tend to always have low defense unless you're Merrick or Robin. I forget the red wizard that has a lot. Whatever. If you... There's several people out there going, like, just screaming at me right now. Second lowest one, which really is like fighting for lowest, is his speed. Speed of 25. If you are not aware, 25 is really terrible. And spoiler alert, this is where he's really, really losing his fights at. As a matter of fact, go to Darting Blow. That's not who I want. Let's see here. So, yeah, sorry. Come up here. We're going to hit reset. And bring everybody back. I mean, if you just switch out his default A skill to Darting Blow, he has a wonderful record here. For everybody included, it's still fantastic. This isn't where we want to be at all. But it's a lot better. So now we're taking a look at the fact that speed is our Achilles heel. There's a couple other things that you can do. I'm going to come back to the A skill in a moment. A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful skill to give our Alfonse here is quick repost, which is what you do whenever you want to take credit for somebody's idea on the internet. Now, I'm sorry, that was such a lame joke. Please don't leave, don't leave. With quick repost, what this does is whenever he gets attacked, he is going to be able to get an extra swing in, which means we don't want... Yeah, which if you take a look here, we're down to, what, 51, 39, 27. Obviously, we're not... It looks like that didn't do the trick, but let's go ahead and switch around the order here. Let's say that the enemy initiates now. We just stand here. We're minding our own business. We're, watching all of our friends kill things, wishing that we could go ahead and do anything. Oh, crap! And here comes somebody, and we're going to go ahead and attack them. So, I'm going to go ahead and do enemy initiates, then challenger initiates. If we take a look at this, hey, look, we're bumping things up to 69, 28, and 20. Now, this is with Darting Blow, and this is with quick riposte. I'm going to go ahead and change this up, change this back to his default for a moment so that you can see that the fact that you are getting those 2 extra swings in on that first hit is making a world of difference, and it sort of solves our speed problem. Sort of. This is what I was talking before in the last video. I'm going to stop referencing it in a moment, I swear. About positioning and about different field states. In this instance, we are assuming that we are not going to let Alfonse be aggressive. We are going to let him stand there and be a stalwart defender that is meant to stand and deliver and just knock the crap out of the enemy. And for this, it works out rather well. I mean, there's 72 wins that we're getting, 26 people that still ring our bell, and 19 people that are just sort of bouncing back and forth there. That's not a terrible set of stats at this point. This is getting really comparable to what Trina is. Should be the last reference of that video. The problem we have here, and this is a decent build. Let me go ahead and just adjust one last thing here. Sorry. Using Luna, we technically end up going on to the losing side a little bit. However, magic keyboard. It's going to hit 3 here. Once it's fully charged up, actually, this puts us into a range where we're going to be able to take on a lot of comers. Unfortunately, it does not work in this build. This is one of the builds where you really just want to keep Moonbow around. Because of the point that I was about to make. Sorry, I jumped around a little bit here. Let me get to my point. Quick Riposte only works whenever you are above 70% hit points. You're pretty much only going to get to use this once, maybe twice, depending on who you block. I mean, if you go ahead and block a green unit with this, like good old Arthur here, you see we're only losing 5 hit points here off of Arthur. He's not really doing too much to us. So he attacks us first, and then we just completely wail on poor Arthur. The first attack, because we had Luna set on this one, is going to decimate him. Quick Riposte is still going to go ahead and just take care of him. So if you go ahead and use this particular build of Alfonse as a destroyer of green, then for the most part, you're going to be fine, and he's going to endure pretty much the whole fight. As a matter of fact, I would not recommend keeping a soul on him. I would recommend going over to Noontime on him. This is going to go ahead and give him a little bit of healing. It's going to get rid of that chip damage that's there, and you're going to see right here, it's not going to look great down here. As a matter of fact, you see that, 63, 29, 25 doesn't sound right to you, but actually putting Noontime on him is going to get rid of that chip damage, and it's going to let him continue to be the one who's going to just take all the green guys and just waste them. Problem is that unless you're doing trying to get SP on him and doing the training tower, you're not going to be seeing hordes of green characters, at least with anything that's out there in the game right now. So so I've been presenting this build to you with Quick Riposte. And you would think it is perfect on Alfonse, but it really turns into a one-trick pony. Not one-trick pony as in there's only one thing you can do. One-trick pony as in you get one. And that's just not very flexible. I like to have units that are very flexible personally. And maybe you don't need that. Because here, let me come back. You could blame it all on me. I'm sorry, I also did skip one thing. Since you're letting the enemy come to you, and you're going to get 2 hits on them, there was a fistful of enemies here that were still sticking around. 19 inconclusives. Before we get to looking at things, let me finish off this build. You can actually give this guy threatened speed. Is that what I want to give you? I bumped it by 3. I'm sorry, I should have verified this. There we go. If you can give him threatened defense, and it's going to go ahead and help you out here. This gets him into the 80 win area, which is about what you want for a unit that you're going to want to rely on heavily. This does put Alfonse into a good spot. Like I said, really, you only are going to do it once or twice, but that might be all you need him to do it for. The idea here is that you could go ahead and give him a threatened skill, because if you're letting the enemy attack him first, the threatened skill is going to happen for the turn for the follow-up. And that's what's going to let him actually finish off some of these other characters that used to be inconsistent. Let's go ahead and take a look at who he's winning against here, and let me point out the big wins that we got here. There's 80. I'm not going to go through them all, but I mean, we're looking at Camilla here. We're taking a look at there he is, Hector. Ha, see? We're getting Hector, and we're just completely obliterating him. As a side note, basically Hector has a Quick Riposte on his legendary weapon, so attacking him first is stupid. You want to let him attack you first. And so really this is the double whammy. This is sort of turning his own trick against him. Going on down the line here, we're going to find that, I wish I was doing this on a computer. I could just search for the people real quick. We could beat another Alfonse. We could beat Bryoma. We could beat Corel, which is always a tricky one. We get some good bow users. We can get Xander. We can get Zephiel. We can get Takumi. There he is. That's who I was looking for earlier. So we get both of the people that we had a problem with. Let's take a look at who we lose against here. And we're losing against a bunch of blue. As a matter of fact, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of the blue. No, not rid of the melee, get rid of the blue. Not rid of the physical, get rid of the blue. Wow. Wow, guys. I did it! I did it! Okay, so who are we losing against? We're losing against we're losing against Celica, we're losing against Kajero, which is always a hard thing, and you're letting her attack you first. That's stupid. You don't want that to happen. We're losing against Tharia. So, when it comes down to it, we're losing against someone who is designed to kill infantry. We're losing against 3 different magic users, and we're losing against which you'll find in the arena, but it takes 2 rounds for him to do that. So if you want to save your Alfonse, you still have a chance to. And I'm sitting there at 11 hit points? Yeah, that's not a big deal. Although that is after the second round, after we let him hit us. So you gotta take a look at things. So once again, this build is gonna get us 81 kills in dueling. It's going to leave us in a good position to fight off most people. I didn't finish going through the list there, but you should go back through. You should rebuild this in the Mass Duel Simulator and see how many fights where we have a lot of hit points left over. So this particular build here, if you are baiting with him, if you are trying to let the enemy come to you, it's going to be wonderful, and it's going to give you some good results. Just be careful, if you go up against one of the bigger threats, he's going to leave that range that he has to actually use quick riposte, and then he just goes back into basically the territory that we saw him at whenever we were in the doing this before. He's going to be killing like 48 to 55-ish people in a duel because of Moonbow. If you wait and bait more people, threat and defense will help on the other turn, but you're basically saying, oh, I'm going to get smacked in the face, so I have a good second round. So, that's what you're getting. However, this is a decent build. 3 different people to throw into Alfonse, and he's good to go with this. There's one more build I want to share with you today, because I want to, since we're talking about having the enemy come to us, I want to point out at Alfonse's defense. His defense is 32. Hands of Blue. Sorry. And that's decently high. Alfonse should be able to take a hit. Problem is that his low speed is like really gimping him. So what I'm going to suggest is that you go ahead and take advantage of the fact that he has such a wonderful speed. Where are you? And that you give him his A skill as Fortress Defense. Now hold on a moment. I need to prepare you for what you're about ready to see. So we have a lot of impressive tanks in the game. There's Zephiel, there's Effie, there's Hector. These people can stand and deliver, hurt the enemy quite well, and it'd take a good hit. What I'm proposing here is that we make a tank out of Alfonse. And what this tank is going to do is it's going to get mobility in exchange for raw killing power. So what we are going to try to do with this build is maximize not the wins, but we're trying to minimize the losses and increase the number of inconclusives within a 2-round period. That sounds weird, but first let me go ahead and let's build this theorycraft here, try to get this going, and then I will show you, once I have the numbers on the screen, I will show you why you want to do this. So we come down here and we made that one simple change. 50, do I have everything on? I want the blue on. 65 wins, 23 losses, 29 inconclusives. So already you're starting to see that this isn't so bad, really, when it comes down to it. Nope, I'm gonna come back to you. I said leave. Quick Riposte does well in this regard still. That's really great. The problem that I have is that poor Alfonse is just getting punched in the face a lot. and you are going to be flirting with that 50% range for his sword bonus quite often. So I'm going to go ahead and give him renewal 3. We see that his wins go down, but his inconclusives go up. Let's, now that, here, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit by my beautiful face. Take off renewal 3, and we're going to put on, it's not Swordbreaker, Quick Riposte. Okay, 65, 23, 29. So, okay, so 24, 33, we basically shifted them all over to that direction. If you notice that you have a... Oh, no, not 2, Patrick. 1. If we do that healing, on the turn that the healing comes around, that works out a lot better. Now we're losing to Takumi. We don't want that to happen. That's not good. Threatens speed. And that puts a lot more of the guys into the inconsistency. And we see now on the top here the worst. Because I have a... Oh no, I've sorted by best. By losses by best. We see that we have a lot of blue up here on top now. Which is acceptable. To a degree. It means red, after all. But what this particular build here is striving to do is it's striving to give you the soul. Okay, so now we have 47 wins, 25 losses, 45 inconclusives. This particular build here is striving to just buy you time, to give you a wall that can move 2 spaces, and you can put him wherever you need to on the battlefield without a lot of trickery, without a lot of reposition or pivot or swap hoop jumping that you have to go through to make armor worthwhile. So he's going to just walk right out there and do what he needs to. That's if the enemy initiates. We don't necessarily need the enemy to initiate anymore. We're going to go ahead and just put the challenger up to 30 and then 60 inconclusive, 27 losses. When it comes down to it, it looks like all of a sudden we're just tanking Alfonse's ability to do anything. But instead we're tanking his ability to do something. That wasn't clever. I'm sorry. Anyway, let me go ahead and get to the point, or to finish the point here. So if you keep Soul on him, he's going to go ahead and recover some hit points, and he's going to be able to do well with that. He has his renewal. He's going to notice to recover some hit points with that. Those are 2 things that are working against him for using his unique weapon, which is not necessarily the best thing. However, between Fortress Defense and Threatened Speed, he is able to withstand punishment, stop all the other enemies from hurting him and others because of the Threatened Speed. And here's the thing is that he's probably going to be standing next to people who are buffing him. Let's pretend he's walking around with Sharina. Oh, I lied to you. I brought that up. Sharina, by default in her kit, has a rally attack. So we're going to add that to the buffs, because that is a buff. And she has fortified defense. I'm going to do that right there. So I'm going to tap here. If we come down here, all of a sudden his losses are down to 18, which is pretty good. 45, which is a bit higher. It's getting close to where he started at, and he still has a lot of inconclusive. So he's not. So instead of your Alphonse having a loss ratio that's equal to your win ratio, you have an Alphonse that has a win ratio that is much better than losses, but your inconclusive is higher. This is a decent build for Alphonse for this reason. There are tons of Sword Lords out there. You're going to have all kinds of heavy-hitting ones. If you have been playing the game for 3 weeks since recording this, you probably have thrown all kinds of orbs into getting Ike. You may even have a minus attack Ike, which you're going, I can't believe a minus attack Ike. But that's wonderful. That's a good Sword Lord to have, to just go ahead and just ram down people's throats. If you don't have one of those, I suggest you go back to one of the other builds I have, find yourself a quick riposte, put it on Alphonse. If you already have a slew of Sword Lords that are meant to stand on the front line and just sort of like break people in between their little fingers like this, like the little murder machines that they are, then you don't necessarily need to make Alfonse compete, because he's not going to. 80 wins is awesome, but it's not as good as those other sword lords could get to. So if you can't join them and you can't beat them, you should just change the game. And in this case, this is what I'm recommending with Alfonse, is this defensive build. Is he going to be devastating everything? No. He needs help. But no Alfonse is an island, so you're going to be able to walk around with him with a supporting character that's going to actually finish mopping up, and he's going to be able to protect anybody that you stand behind him, as long as he's not fighting these 18 people. Kajero, as we talked about before, Selek, other mages are basically still whomping on him because he's not doing anything. Plus a couple of the better heavy-hitting blue spear users. That's what they use. So I have presented with you 3 different kits that you can go ahead and give your Alfonse to get him going the cheap way, which is not going to impress anyone, is to just go ahead and give him Moonbow, and then you leave his, where'd it go? Bow on him. You give him Vantage, because why not? And then I would suggest not, spur attack on him to be able to help out your buddies. This is an okay kit. It's only getting you about 78. Don't think it's supposed to be that high. No, it's had the buffs in there still. Should have just hit reset. It's going to get you around 60 to be able to actually hurt people with. The second kit, which is probably the more impressive one that you would is a lot closer to typical. I'm going to give him back his move. We're going to... What is this we're doing? Quick riposte. And if you wait for the enemy to come to you, what is this, darting blow? Don't have all my notes here. And that's what I get, and that's why you always leave a note. Do your death blow, you do your threat and speed. Let the enemy come to you. You're not going to be able to do this all day, but you're going to get a lot more wins out of this. And then, of course, if you want to instead, if you already have sword lords and you still want Alfonse to do something, turn him into a quick moving tank. Go ahead and give him Fortress Defense. You can either give him Quick Riposte, or you can go ahead and give him Renewal so that he has some more staying power so that he can stick around a bit longer. And then, of course, Threaten Speed, Threaten. You could actually choose whatever Threaten you want. Some are better than others. Please, use the tool. Find out which ones let you win the matchups that you care about. And go from there. So 3 different kits that you can give your Alfonse. I hope that you found this entertaining. I hope you found this enjoyable. And I hope that you found something to disagree with me with. Please go ahead and comment down below past the doobly-doo. And we'll start a dialogue. So once again, thank you very much. And good luck.